Welcome back to Joy TCG, where it's Final Fantasy TCG all the time. Today we've got a treat because you don't have to watch Guardians. You're welcome. It is going to be the one on the right with the Dragons playmat is a cost 5 build around the new Sophie card. And the player on the left with the Magic playmat is kind of the Sophie deck, with just one Sophie now, without Doga and with -2 Sophies, but he made some adjustments and he's still playing that Water Earth deck. So it's Earth Ice on the right, Earth Water on the left. And this, I apologize in advance, this video is quite long. They spent a lot of time understanding the cards and had a few questions as they were playing. So I'll try to fill that time with additional commentary as I can. And the cost 5 deck on the right is like just testing out. Like we just built it like a week ago. So it's still in the process of modifications. We'll see how it does. And it looks like Earth Ice goes first. He's going to play the new Gladiator backup and the Arcanist backup. The Gladiator doesn't really have any abilities until he gets to 5 damage. Then you can return him to your hand at any time and then play him to the field, and he gives one forward 10,000 power. So it's a cool like end game move to boost one of your guys. And then Arcanist has a turn and pay ability where it can force your opponent to, or you choose a cost value and your opponent can't attack with those cost forwards. So if they're cost 4, they can't attack that turn, for example. Sophie deck plays Minwu. Minwu is an older card, but still very valuable. His ability is forwards cannot take damage less than their power. That just applies to all his forwards all the time. The field ability. And looks like he's coming with a Tyro. 5 cost backup and everyone's favorite backup, especially if you hit him as an EX burst. But he plays him for cost 5 and he goes and he searches. Now that looks like a Corsair, but we're playing with some proxies because I don't have enough cards to fill it yet. And that Corsair is actually going to be Verstale, the card that is put there in front of him. Verstale is an ice 5 cost 7 or 5k that says when he comes to the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and choose up to 3 5 cost characters and put them in your hand. And also, as an announcement, I have another proxy in that deck, or he does, that is Rhinoa, the Opus 6 Rhinoa that is the bounce out of the game or remove from game and then come back to the field dull. And that one is just a card backwards in the sleeve, so it just looks like the back of a card. So if we run into that card, that is the Rhinoa card, which I'm waiting for the anniversary box so I can get some of them. All right, and Sophie player plays Ovalia. Ooh, dangerous Ovalia. So she has a special that lets her remove a forward, or when a forward goes to the break zone, it can be played back to the field that turn. All right, and then so cost 5 deck plays what looks like the Corsair, but it's actually Verstale. I believe he's going to go ahead and put that Verstale over the Corsair so it's not confusing. He's looking, and he's got Behemoth K as an option there. It looks like he also has Shinryu, Titan Lord of the Crags, and Orphan. And that Arcanist is not 5 cost or more, so he can't choose that. So he passes on the Orphan and takes the other 3. And he thinks about playing something. He is going to play another Gladiator. And he passes turn. Looks like he was not able to also have a Rhinoa in hand to bounce that Verstale. It's kind of the idea with the deck, I think, is to bounce that Verstale and give yourself 6 cards instead of 3, which would be an awesome hit. But all right, so Sophie deck plays Agrias. If you control a Job Princess, you draw a card when she comes to the field. Oh no, when you control a Job Princess, she lowers something's power by 7,000 and draws a card when she comes to the field. So that killed off Verstale. And Ovelia's other ability is anytime an FFT forward goes to the break zone, you get to draw a card. So if this Agrias gets put in the break zone, he's going to draw a card off of that. Paying 3. He's got a lot of 5 costs in there, so I'm guessing he's paying 5 for something. There's a 5 cost. 7. Oh, he's going big for Titan Lord of the Crags. But Ovelia, or Agrias, has the same power level as Titan, so his ability will not activate unless he has a way to boost Titan. Because he, when he comes to the field, he breaks all forwards with a power less than his own. His power is 9. Agrias' power is 9. He's pointing at Tyro, but I think he may not have noticed that Tyro you can't boost with until he gets to 5 damage. That doesn't work at the beginning of the game. So this may have been a misplay, but it's not a bad move to put a 9k on the field either. Just kind of expensive one. Looks like he is... I don't know if he's responding to the Titan coming to the field. It looks like it. Or maybe... No, he must have passed turn. I missed it. All right. So he's going to play the Oracle, which gives him a crystal. Here he is deciding if he's going to attack with the Agrias and trade, or he has some other trick up his sleeve here. No, he puts the Oracle back. Decides not to play it. Yeah, this is a kitchen table game. It's okay. We pull back cards sometimes. So instead, he's going to pay 4 for Sarah. Sarah lets you search for a princess or a knight or a king, I believe. So he's gonna search for Ovelia, put him in hand. Looks like putting that Oracle back, you may have forgot to get rid of the crystal that he gained off of that Oracle. So, but that's all right. We'll see if they notice later, or no big deal. Like I said, kitchen table game here. Still learning the decks, still trying to figure out what's the best strategy. All right, he's paying 3, 5, 4. Looks like it's a Shinryu time. So Shinryu comes to the field, and all forwards opponent controls that are 3, 6, and 9 cost take 10,000 damage. But his opponent doesn't have any 3, 6, or 9 cost because Agrias is a 5. So he must have just been a forward he wanted to get on the field at this point. And then Titan, the summon here, the 1 cost Titan, he has a choose 2 of 4 choices. I don't remember all 4 of the choices are, but his choices were to draw a card and to give his forwards Brave for the rest of the turn. So he's going to swing with Titan, Lord of the Crags, now that he has Brave. But they would have equal power, once again, so still a little confused on this one, but... Oh, and he's going to activate Ovalia's special, block with Agrius, take the damage, let Agrius die, which kills Titan, and then because of Ovalia's special, when Agrius goes to the break zone, she comes back to the field. And when Agrius comes to the... Until then, Agrius went to the break zone, so he draws a card off of Agrius going to the break zone because of Ovalia's ability. Then Agrius comes back to the field, dull, because that's part of the ability, and then draw a card off of Agrius' ability because he controls a princess, and lowers Shinryu by 7k. That's quite the combo there. Dangerous. No wonder this deck's so hard to play against. Alright, Shinryu has been lowered by 7,000 down to a 2, but then the turn ends and he still stays on the field. So no problem there. Back to his normal power of 9k. If Sophie deck's not able to get rid of Shinryu at the beginning of the cost 5's next turn, this could be a problem. He's going to activate his ability, and we'll see how that turns out when the time comes. So he's still trying to determine what the best move is here. He's got... Oh, not that one. Alright, so he's going to play Gabranth. Good old expensive Gabranth here. And let's see how he's going to pay for it. Looks like he's going to drop 2 cards to pay for Gabranth. So when he comes to the field, you can search for a cost 5 forward and put it in your hand. So he grabs Robel Akbel, but he's only a cost 4. So realize that is not meet the requirement. And back to search again. What cost 5 is going to make sense for him? He's pulling a Shinryu of his own. This might be an interesting dragon versus dragon going on here soon. And as a reminder, I will be look in the description, and there are deck lists down there for these 2 decks. So if you are interested, they are available. Let's see if he tries to trade Agrius for Shinryu here. Or just accepts that, or just takes the damage if Agrius does attack. That's probably what would happen, because you're not going to lose both. You're only forward. Oh, you discard Sophie. That probably means she's going to come back soon. And Kryl. And pay 1 to play Lenna. So Lenna, when she comes to the field, you can play 1 water forward from your break zone to the of cost 2 to the field. So since Sophie is a water and earth, she counts. And so when Lenna comes to the field, you can place Sophie to the field as well, as long as she's in the break zone. And he does swing with Agrius. Takes a damage point there, and since Sophie's on the field, she gains 2,000 power for every water and every earth on the field other than herself. So she's at 10,000 power, and if she is at 10,000 power or more, at the end of your turn, your opponent takes a damage point, and you get to draw a card. Most broken card ever made. But luckily, they restricted it to only one card per deck. So now all you people who have playsets of Sophie, I'm very sorry. You have 2 extra cards that you can't play. He's trying to understand Sophie's ability. I don't know that he's played against this card before. All right, turn switches, and he's got to find a way to deal with Sophie. Let's see what makes sense here. Oh, and Shinryu's ability activates. So at the beginning of your turn, beginning of your main phase 1, you flip over your opponent's top deck, and if it's a forward, it lowers all of their forwards by 7k. If it's not a forward, then you get to draw 2 cards. So because Robel Akbel is a forward, it lowers all of the Sophie deck's forwards by 7k. So that should kill Gabranth and Lenna, which in turn would lower Sophie's power to 6 and kill her as well. Agrius is a 9 and would survive this move. So I think he's trying to decide how to respond. If I remember right, this is quite a lengthy discussion of the stack, and because he wants to respond to this Shinryu's ability. So as they discuss this, we can talk about the upcoming re-raise tournament. If you're not aware, there's a re-raise tournament coming up. There's one in Florida, May 20th and 21st. And I'm so excited that I'm able to attend. So if anyone is going to the re-raise tournament in Castleberry, Florida, May 21st, or 21st, 22nd, it's Saturday and Sunday, that weekend, I will be there, and I am like so stoked. And I actually live up in Washington State, so I'm actually also going to the one in August that is in Portland. So I'm planning to attend both re-raise tournaments. I'm just super excited to play. I don't have a meta deck, but it's still just super fun. And it looks like they're still trying to decide how the interaction will work here. So what he wants to do is use Avelia's special to make Lenna come back to the field after she dies. So Gabranth, Lenna, and Sophie should go to the break zone. And then Ovelia's special gives Lenna the ability to come back to the field when she goes to the break zone. And then also when Lenna comes to the field, she can put a 2-cost water forward back onto the field with her. So essentially, Shinryu's ability is only just going to kill Gabranth, but it did make him waste Ovelia's special to save Lenna and Sophie. But I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get to that point, but we're working there. So if anyone's not aware of the re-raise tournament, it's on the Facebook North America FFTCG site. They advertise it, and it looks like it's going to be amazing. They've got great prizes. Everyone who enters gets a foil stamped Amaterasu, and right there it's worth the entry cost of $35. So, I mean, just go, because it's amazing. Totally would recommend it. All right, here we are. All right, here. We got the interaction figured out. Here's Lenna coming back and Sophie back to the field. So, oh yeah, and then when Lenna returns from that ability, she comes indoled. So now Sophie is an 8k, and he's got 2 dulled forwards. So Shinryu definitely did some damage there, but not as much as you might think he would have, because Lenna was able to, Lenna and Ovelia worked together very nicely. And it looks like he's going to continue his turn. Oh, there's Titan. Oh, Titan, Lord of the Crags. Perfect timing. You know, you brought back Lenna and Sophie, but Titan comes in and says, anything that's less than my power dies. And because Agrius was lowered by 7k because of Shinryu, she's only a 2. So this does destroy his whole board. Agrius goes away because she's only a 2. Lenna's, I think, a 7. And Sophie right now is at 8. So everything is less than Titan's power, and they go to the break zone. Yeah, if Shinryu wasn't a board wipe, Titan will come in and finish the job. That's a pretty sick combo, too. If you have enough CP to pay for it. Those are some pretty spendy cards. All right, so he's swinging in with Shinryu here. And I'm not sure what the question is on that. Oh, I think he's just verifying that Titan's ability does a break ability instead of a damage ability, because if it was damage that he was doing, Minwoo might have protected his forwards. But since it's break everything under his power, that goes around Minwoo's protection. So Shinryu comes in, hits, and he takes the damage. Turn switch. Well, let's see how he's going to recover from this full board wipe. I mean, Sophie is in the break zone, and she can get taken out of the break zone in many ways. So we'll see. Oh, he's going to go with his own Shinryu. It is Dragon versus Dragon here. When he comes to the field, he does 10,000 damage to all 3, 6, and 9 cost forwards the opponent controls, but his opponent doesn't have any 3, 6, or 9 cost forwards. Oh, maybe he's deciding that wasn't the right move because he didn't read his card quite right. I know that in the voice or in the recording, he was saying, hey, I thought it was all the forwards that are 3, 5, and 7, which would have been devastating. But since it's 3, 6, and 9, doesn't do anything here. So I think he's rethinking that move. Instead, he's going to play Sildra. Once again, one of my favorite summons. He lets you search for 2 cards. It can be 2 category 5, 2 water characters, or 1 of each, but they have to be of different cost. Let's see what he finds here. I mean, he's got some category 5 in that deck because he's got the, I think Geomancer's a category 5, and some of those other guys. Yeah, actually, there he is. Geomancer category 5. And a bunch of water characters. So, I mean, there's tons and tons of choices available there. And he goes for Agrius as the other option. Just kidding. He goes back and searches again. Comes back with Agrius as the other option. Man, that sounds familiar. You got to make sure you get your choices right. Like I said, there was a lot of choices in that deck. It's probably one of the most difficult things for me to learn playing Final Fantasy is what to search for when you get the option to search. It definitely is a skill that builds over time based on the deck you're playing and the situation you're in. So it definitely is. If people who are good at finding the right cards to search are so good at this game. Now that he's got those 2 new cards, let's see if he's going to play any of them here. He just slid a card off the table. And he's paying 4 for Robel Akbel. When he comes to the field, if you pay a crystal, you can break one of your opponent's forwards. Just like that. Just a bam break. And then at the beginning of each of your main phase 1s, he can pull a backup out of your break zone and put it in your hand. It's just such a great value card. And you're usually not going to be pulling a backup that you're necessarily playing, but it's just a free 2 CP that you're gaining every turn. It's just an extra card. It's just, if you can't get rid of him pretty quickly, him and like cards like Lakshmi, where you just get a card every turn, it can be devastating if you can't deal with them to your opponent. It's great for yourself. And so Robel, of course, chose Shinryu to get rid of because, well, that would have been very bad if he got the chance to do that again. He's going to play some Mist Dragon here and get rid of that break zone. That's a smart move to try to clear out the Sophie option of coming back and causing havoc again. It's just going to say, why did Titan go to the... There we go. He grabbed the wrong card. Mist Dragon to the break zone. And he passes the turn, just plays the Mist Dragon that turn, and lets his opponent have an opportunity here. So he's still making some decisions here. Like I said, it's a fairly long video. They're both pretty new to these decks and talking through what's going on. So not exactly a fast play, but it's a really great match. He's got a Mist Dragon of his own, but he's just discarding it to get that Agrius on the field. So he can draw that card and lower Titan by 7k. Luckily, Titan's a 9, so he doesn't perish, but he's not going to be wanting to block here because it will kill him. Yeah, he's going to have to take that hit. Shelky to the damage zone. Hope that card gets played. Shelky's a great card. The new one from Opus 16. She's definitely an annoyance to deal with. Alright, so he passes turn. Alright, so we're going to drop Titan. Hey, there's Sophie, the other Sophie, the new Sophie. So she's Earth, and she doesn't have a come to the field ability, but when a 5-cost character, 5 or more cost character comes to the field, she deals damage equal to her power times 2 to one of your opponent's forwards. So if he plays a 5 cost, oh, looks like he may play one right now. There it is, Orphan. So Orphan comes to the field. Sophie's power is 5, so she deals 10k to Agrius, which then Ovelia lets him draw a card off of Agrius going to the break zone. And then Orphan has his own ability that when you enter your attack phase, your opponent discards a card. When they discard a card, you choose a forward to dull, but he doesn't have any forwards left to dull because Agrius was already sent to the break zone. Although I'm not sure about that choice. It may have made more sense to send Robo Akbel in that case. But that's how it went. So he does do his discard, and Titan comes in with a swing, and Kusith. Grab a forward out of your break zone. Well, it's a small break zone, but there is a forward now that Agrius went there. Or, sorry, forward or backup, so. And he does pass turn. I mean, looking back, it's probably good that he picked the Agrius instead of the Robel to break, because then that EX burst would have put Robel back in his hand. Well, he doesn't have a crystal to activate his ability, though, but if he has a way to get a crystal, Robel would be dangerous because he'd be an instant break when he comes back to the field. So, tough. And it looks like a Sophie player is trying to understand the Orphan ability. Probably doesn't see that card a ton. It's really just in turbo discard decks. And here comes Agrius back to the field for a draw and lower power by 7k. And he's going to crush Sophie's heart with that and kill her. Well, she made an appearance and then died a terrible death. Well, it was nice knowing you, Sophie. The newer, not restricted version. He's going to swing with Robel. Even though Orphan had enough power to block him, he let that damage come through, which turns out was a good choice because that's an EX burst that lets him search for any forward and put it in his hand. Let's see what he chooses here. I see Shelky, Lael, Verstale. I wonder if there's a Behemoth K left in there, because if there is, that'd be a pretty disgusting card to throw out at 4 damage, because at 5, Behemoth K gets really scary. Oh, he's considering Behemoth K. Nope, moving on. He chooses to go with the Sophie. Assuming she doesn't get axed the turn she comes out again. I mean, keep it on the field for a while. She can get pretty devastating if you keep playing those 5 costs. So, makes sense. It's probably not a bad choice to grab that one. And that thins his deck, whereas if he gets a Verstale, he'll have more chances of hitting 5 costs on the reveal again. So, yeah. Looks like the Sophie player is Water Earth Sophie player is trying to figure out if he's going to play anything for main phase 2. He's got pretty good hand size there. I want to say that's 4 cards, it looks like. He's going to pay 5. There's Shinryu. We didn't get to see Dragon versus Dragon, but at least we get one. So when he comes to the field, he does 10,000 damage to all 3, 6, and 9 cost forwards that the opponent controls, but he doesn't have any. Again, it's just a 5 and a 7. So here comes Sophie, the Earth Sophie. And he is going to play a 5 cost. Oh, it is Behemoth K. He had one in his hand already. That sneaker. All right. So that does 10k to one of their forwards, and he chooses Shinryu. And then entered attack phase, and he discarded the card in his hand, which was that Star Symbol. And when he discards, he has to dull one of the opponent's forwards, which puts Agrius in a dull position. So he's got a free shot here with at least 2, it looks like 2 hits, because 2 forwards were on the field at the beginning of the turn. Sophie and Behemoth K are new and don't have haste. All right, so he's going to swing in with Orphan here. And also with Titan Lord of the Crags. No EX bursts on those. And then Robel Akbel activates at the beginning of main phase 1, where he can grab a backup out of his break zone and put it in his hand. And looks like he is going to choose Star Symbol for that. He's going to swing with Agrius, and he wants to take that damage to put Behemoth K at 5. He's going to swing again. Oh, and takes it again for 6. That's not actually a Corsair. That's the Verstale placeholder in the damage zone. Oh, and he plays Shantoto to remove from game all forwards. The deadly Behemoth K has been gotten rid of. All right, so no forwards on the field. Everybody's gone. 6 damage, 4 damage. It's a close game. Phase 2 for Sophie. Again, another one in his hand, apparently. They're looking at the Gladiator card. I wonder if he's trying to use his ability to return to hand. He does. Yeah, you can. It's just a dull and return to your hand. Now that he's above damage 5, if he plays that Gladiator to the field, it will. He can choose one of his forwards to give 10,000 extra power to for that turn. And that was the end of turn there. So he just played Sophie and passed turn and pulled that Gladiator back. Probably wanted a forward out just in case he had like some kind of haste to do a quick hit and end the game. You don't want to get caught off guard when you're at 6 damage. So he plays Cuchulainn to remove Sophie's abilities, but it looks like that was really just a value play to grab a card from the top of his deck. So then he plays Sarah Mobius, and Sarah Mobius can either draw a card or choose one forward that you control, one forward your opponent controls, and have them fight each other. So he's choosing for Sarah Mobius to fight Sophie, and they both are at 5k, so they both perish. Cleared the board again. Those decks look like they're running pretty slim, so somebody's going to have to get over the top or they're going to deck out. Looking through his remove from game stack there, which looks like about 20, 25 cards. That's a lot. Oh, there's Shelky. So when she's on the field, she has a field ability that says the power of your forwards cannot be decreased and the power of your opponent's forwards cannot be increased. So it's a one-sided Melty Gemini, which is amazing. You know, I would say her only downside is that she's only a 6k. They're both checking their deck stack to see how many turns they have left before decking out. And here comes that Sarah Mobius card again, but this time instead of 2 people fighting because she would lose, he's going to draw a card off of her ability. This is the real strategy part of the game when you're at high damage and trying to figure out how to get over the top or how to not lose. All right, so he go ahead and plays Oracle to gain a crystal. Maybe he's planning to bring a Robel Akbel in and do a break, which would be pretty devastating right now. Let's see how he's going to respond or play here. We've got 2, 3. He's going to play Mist Dragon. Looks like he's asking to remove the break zone again. He's probably got 40 cards removed from game now. Wow, and he draws a card off of that. Those Mist Dragons can be devastating. All right, is he playing that Gladiator back to the field and giving Shelky an insane amount of power? Although it's not really going to matter at this point. He's already stronger than Sarah Mobius. But he wouldn't attack because he's got 6 damage. He wouldn't have any way to protect himself. So he's got to get another forward on the field to have a chance to move forward in the game here. Or find a way to get rid of Sarah Mobius. And he's going to play that Verstale card. Even with such a small deck pile left, he's going for the win here. He's trying to find enough cards to get him over the top. So he's got Looks like 4 choices again. The Luminous Puma is a 5. Orphan, Lael, and Behemoth K. So looks like he's going to grab those 3, pass on the Luminous Puma, and put him back on the bottom of the deck. And he's only got like 4 or 5 cards there. And he is going to play Behemoth K. All right, so Behemoth K comes to the field. Doesn't have a come to the field ability, but because he has 5 damage, he has haste and has the ability that if the character, if he's blocked, he does a point of damage. So this should be game, or Sarah Mobius will die. If he attacks with Behemoth K first, that's going to do a point of damage and then another point of damage, because Behemoth K does a point of damage when he attacks as well. So that'd put him at 6. And then if he attacks with Shelky, Sarah Mobius would have to block, and he'd still have Verstale up. But if he did it the other way around and attack with Shelky first, then if he didn't block with Sarah Mobius, that's instantly game. Because Behemoth K attacks, he would get 2 points of damage no matter what, if he blocked or not. So I feel like if he attacked with Shelky first there, he could have snuck in a win if the opponent didn't realize that Behemoth K was going to do 2 points of damage guaranteed. But he chose to attack with Behemoth K first, did 2 points of damage, did not attack with Shelky, leaving Sarah Mobius on the field. It's more of a protective move and probably safer, but he could have won last turn, potentially, if his opponent didn't realize that he was going to get slapped for 2 with Behemoth K for guaranteed, even if he blocked. So, let's see what happens here. He's going to swing with Sarah Mobius. He's going to block with Verstale. Because he has to deal with Behemoth K here. If he doesn't, it's guaranteed game over. That's it. Okay, yep, he wasn't able to get over that top. Behemoth K is such an evil, evil card at the end of the game. That was a crazy good game, and I hope you enjoyed it. I got the deck list posted in the description. See you next time.